you so much for tuning in to KBTV. I'm Dr. Karlisha Booze. Today, we are joined by the new executive director of the Douglas Theater. We have Dr. Shelton Land. Thank you so much, Dr. Land, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm happy to be here today. Yep.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Land, we have you on here because we're super excited just to have you, in charge or as the new executive director. So we know that you have over 15 years of leadership experience in this field, and you're taking the role that, retiree Ms. Gina Ward was serving on for the last 2 decades. So tell us, what changes can we see at the Douglas Theater now that you are the new executive director?
Well, that's a good question. Mrs. Ward, we give her many thanks of, how she has stabilized and brought some robust programming to the Douglas, which already exists. And so when we say changes and what changes will come, I think it would be more so around about highlighting so people can know what we're doing here at the Douglas. Like I said, over the last 21 years, have created a lot of robust arts education programs. So we want to continue that tradition of that. There's been opportunities for emerging artists. We definitely want to continue that. And a place for people just to share their stories, to share their narrative. Because as we all know, no one can tell your story better than you. And so we want to continue that, but we want to highlight that in a more intentional and deliberate way of just bringing more recognition to the Douglas Theater and its significance here in the Georgia community and nationally.
Okay. Now, speaking of that, you mentioned something about the artists. We know that the Douglas Theater has hosted many jazz and blues artists such as James Brown, Otis Redding, Little Richard, and also different films. So it's just a place where many can showcase their talent. And speaking of films, for the month of February, I believe for Black History, you guys have been showing a lot of films. So do you have any more, as we close out the month of February coming up?
Absolutely. So, we have ran our Black History Month film series, and we close out this Friday actually with The Woman King. And, and the purpose of that is to show African Americans on the screen, to show them in different characters so people can get a deeper glimpse into our culture, into what it means, and walk away with a different perception or their own perception for that matter. But, we have The Woman King coming up, and then we continue that Saturday with Risk Takers, History Makers, which is a partner rental here. So, throughout the month of February, which is a significant month for us, we're going to continue that on throughout our 28 days.
Okay, great. So admission, are there any charges or anything just to see these films?
That's a good question. It's absolutely free. So this is the way that we give back to the public and engage the public, because we want them to be involved and sponsored by Cox Communication. So it's definitely free. It's open to the public. It's open to all. It's first come, first serve. We usually have seating, but hey, we tell people get here early. Doors open at 6:30. Film starts at 7. So again, The Woman King, and we definitely want people to come out as we close out with a bang to really highlight. And it's actually a good segue into March as we go into Women's History Month as well. When you think about The Woman King, and then up next is Women's History Month.
Wow, that's awesome. Last question. I know many may be thinking, especially people that are not from the Middle Georgia area, the overall goal. I know you touched bases on, the value that the Douglas has on our, African-American community, but just talk about your overall goal. What are you trying to accomplish, or what message are you trying to get to people overall? Just bringing, this amazing facility here in Middle Georgia to people. Like, what is your overall goal?
I have a lot of goals, but my primary goal is to bolster, the Douglas's impact on artists through expanded programming and advance the theater's mission through preservation and engagement, and continue activities across the community and beyond the borders of Central Georgia. The Douglas is a cultural treasure. And so it's a cultural and a historical treasure that has impacted people nationally. And so how do we do that? How do we engage people from the West Coast, the East Coast, the Midwest, Southeast? How do we bring them into the Douglas. So that's one of my goals of doing that. Just because I think that people all around the world need to recognize the Douglas Theater as always a place for good shows. And that's our hashtag, because we're always a place for good shows. And so it's like, how do we continue to do that? Like I said, Ms. Ward laid a great foundation. And so we're going to continue to bolster that across and, to get that out. So that's kind of like what my primary goal is.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lamb, for just coming on the show and just sharing your vision and your mission for the Douglas Theater. And we hope that a lot of people take advantage of these free films that's, going to cap off the month of February leading into the month of March. So I'll make sure I post all the information on my website, KarliBTV.com.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. We appreciate you.
Are you a homeowner, a parent, or own a business? What happens to those assets in the case of death?
Hi, I'm Cassandra Barron, your local life insurance agent. Life insurance protects your income in the case of death. Call me for your free quotes today.
Affordable coverage for the whole family, immediate coverage, no waiting period, multiple kids coverage for one price. Call Cassandra Barron today.